What's up, Planeswalkers? We're back in Historic with a mono black list. This one we're basically playing Zombie Discard. So we have some couple new cards to kind of play around with from Jumpstart and M21. But another card from the last anthology, which I not really played around with too much. Waste Not. It's a 2-mana enchantment. Whenever an opponent discards a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. And whenever an opponent discards a land, we have to add 2 black mana. Whenever an opponent discards a non-creature, non-land card, draw a card. So you're going to get some kind of value out of this most of the time. Obviously, if it's a land, you should get 2 mana to maybe cast a removal spell. Or, especially if we're doing this on our turn, then we can cast maybe another creature or something. So that's pretty sweet. And there's just lots of nice zombie tribal support that we got that supports this. Another new Jumpstart card here is Miasmic Mummy. It's a 2/2 for 2. When it enters the battlefield, each player discards a card. So we have to discard something as well, so make sure you plan accordingly. But, there's ways we can play around. We do have some nice ways to kind of make up for that. And we also have Liliana's Reaver, which is a 4/3 for 4. Death Touch. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card, and you create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. So it's comes into play tap, which is a little bit of a downside, but you have to untap with it your following turn, and you're forcing your opponent to discard a reasonable amount, so the opponent can have good ways to put pressure on you or good removal spells. And just try to use these incremental ways to kind of add to the board with zombie tokens and just kind of grind your opponent out. And of course, Liliana and Davriel work extremely well together because not only do they force your opponent to discard, but they also punish your opponent for not having cards in hand. So Liliana here, 4 mana for Loyalty. +1, each player discards a card, and each opponent who can't loses 3 life. So same thing as Miasmic Mummy, we have to discard as well, so make sure you kind of play around that. But you can discard a land, you can discard another creature you don't necessarily need, you can get value off of it potentially later on. You're filling up your own graveyard, so you can do the -3 to act as removal, -X on a creature, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. And pretty kind of controlling and slow. So we can definitely get to the -7 as well, and maybe get something back that we killed, or force our opponent to discard with the -7, because we can choose any graveyard to put a creature onto the battlefield with haste, which is awesome. And of course, Davriel, 3 mana, 3 loyalty. -1 to have a target player discard a card, and at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player has 1 or fewer cards in hand. Davriel deals 2 damage to them. So this is can come down on turn 3, force our opponent to discard a card. We can get something off of Waste Not potentially. Just keep pinging away at our opponent's hands, so they can't really have ways to deal with it or apply pressure to us. And let's have some card draw here with Midnight Reaper, 3/2 for 3 mana. Let us draw into cards when our creatures die. So when our opponent does have removal, we can just respond by drawing some cards to kind of make up for all this discard. We also have the Cryptbreaker as well, which works really well in this kind of a style of deck, because we're kind of slowly trying to add to the board, and then we can just tap 3 untap zombies you control to draw a card. We do lose a life, but we're not too worried about that. And we can also discard a card to create a 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. For another way for us to kind of go wide with making 2/2 tokens. And it's got Liliana Steward here, which is a fun little card from M21. It's a 1 mana 1/2, which is decent, and we can tap it to sacrifice it to have your opponent discard a card. We can do this on our turn, or anytime we cast a sorcery, more accurately. But it's a pretty reasonable card in a lot of situations. I've been pleasantly surprised by it. And we have some removal here in 3 Eliminates and 2 Heartless Acts. We're running the 3 Waste Nots, 3 Davriels, all 4 Death Barons here to pump up our 2/2 zombie tokens and make them 3/3s, and with Death Touch. So when your opponent has been able to top deck a creature and they get it onto the board, especially something big and threatening, well, we have the Death Baron with giving everything Death Touch and bumping it up big, so we can just kind of force our opponent to maybe think twice about attacking into us. And we are kind of slowly going wide with our zombie tokens and whatnot, and we can just kind of keep swinging through, leaving our Death Baron back as our zombie lord. Murderous Rider for some additional removal and a zombie body as well. And running the full play set of 24 lands, because you want to curve out, the full set of 24 lands, we do want to curve out to make sure you get to these 3 and 4 drops, or even to have a land to discard, and so we can keep another spell in hand. So we have also the 3 Castle Locthwains, which you can use for card draw as well. and then just 21 swamps. That's the list. We'll jump into some matches and see how it goes. Okay, up against Crafty Brad. Yeah, this hand seems pretty reasonable. Obviously, Cryptbreaker on 1, and then let's see if we follow up with Cryptbreaker number 2, or just a Mummy. Maybe discard one of these Death Barons. Llanowar. So we found our 3rd land. That's pretty cool. Obviously, they're not blocking here, so we get the free attack in. So it's probably just elves, but we'll see. Also discard the Cryptbreaker, but might need that for card advantage if we're going to kind of stall out this elf deck, if that's what it is. Titanic Growth. Okay, so you're just kind of a green pump. Open the gate. Seems like kind of a wasted slot if you're just trying to play mana dorks and decent creatures and then pump them up. Yeah, Death Baron attack. Can double block the Cryptbreaker and then they lose their board, which is fine. Otherwise we hit for 5. Next turn we have Cryptbreaker or just hold up Murderous Rider. Yeah, that's a good target. And Leafkin Druid. Let's get that Yorvo off the field. We'll swing on, not worried about this Leafkin Druid. Definitely not worried about a counterattack from these Llanowar. I'm down to 7, so we're looking pretty good here. So zombies going a little bit aggro here, which feels good. 5-7. That's pretty rough. We can empty our hand here, which is nice. I think we at least attack for 3. So we do have Death Touch, so if they do want to block it with their 5-7, that's fine. So whenever it becomes a target, they get to draw 2 cards. Which if they tap out, we're not worried about. Vigor Spore Worm. Wow, that's probably the first time I've seen that card played. Does not seem to line up well with what they're doing at all. And they get the +1 thanks to us killing Yorvo. It's got Vigilance, right? Yeah. Do we want to block it? Or do you want to discard? I think I'm fine with block. And we'll activate. 1. Sure. Just a land. Alright. Death Touch gets rid of that. Opponent down to, let's see, 3 blockers, and they're dead. So 1, 2, 3, 4 powers getting through. Yep. So yeah, pretty quick work of it. Okay, against Raphael, 201-106. It's a pretty solid hand. Obviously, you lead on the Steward. Drop the Mummy. At this point, probably discard the Reaver. Tap land from our opponent. Oh, we could always discard the Steward as well. Empty board. Let's go and attack 1. I don't think the discard is too relevant there. So many cards in hand. Fire off you, and I think we'll just do the Steward actually. They're in Selesnya, they could have big creatures, maybe. Oh, Abzan, okay. Oh, they're just 200 card pile of nonsense. I see. Let's go and add to the board still before we play Davriel. And, also protects us a little bit from removal. So we got the card draw. And we'll just Davriel. Okay, so 4 color, just 5 card, 250 card pile of just random nonsense. Death Baron, let's do that. So I built this discard kind of control deck, and we're just going aggro here. We'll take it. Alright, we're going to Utah Bulb. Yeah, it's the more controlling hand, but that's fine. We have the Waste Not into Davriel. Heartless Act and Reaver at Agonizing Remorse, thanks to Death Touch here. So we'll keep. And these lands are so beautiful. John Avon, fantastic artist here. Gotta love it. Tap land, and we found a 1-drop. Perfect. So we'll do that. Play Waste Knots, and then do we choose to activate, or do we want to get in for 1? Probably go for activation here, but we'll see what they do. Nothing from our opponent. I'll play you. We don't have anything as far as if they discard a land. That is a land. Okay, that's fine. So double Reaver, Fertility. Okay, looks like a counter deck. Obviously, Heartless Act isn't really doing too much here, but if we can get a zombie token out of this. Hey, Biogenic Ooze, that's perfect. So now we can trade with Fertility, but they probably just use it to ramp, maybe? Oh, I got I think we want to protect Davriel, that's fine. We can also Heartless Act to remove the counters, probably do that before they untap. Reaver is also pretty interesting. Let's discard first.
I don't think you'll be needing that.
Creature. Okay, so we can defend ourselves. And let's remove the counters. Let's just do that, because then... Or, whoa, we should have done 3. Oops, misclicked there. Yeah, 3 counters. Misclicked. Well, that's fine. It's a 2-2, so they want to trade. Alright. We just drop a Reaver here. So now we have some protection. And we have another Davriel. Let's just do that. And then we can Davriel or Reaver next turn. Well, let's get some Waste Not value. So Vivian, we get to draw a card. Perfect. Yeah, we'll attack. If they want to trade, if they want to block and play some kind of a pump spell, that's fine. Alright, so we had Death Touch, so we're not too worried about the counters, but obviously if I had clicked the 3rd time like I should have, then would have Hydra's Growth would have done nothing because no counters to double up. Alright, so Death Baron is nice, but yeah, we'll just keep punishing their hand. I imagine they're pretty close to conceding at this point. We'll see what they discard first before we make a move. If we get, if it's a land, then we can Death Baron. Okay, creature. So we got a 2/2 zombie. Perfect. So we got plenty of defense for our Davriel, and we'll just kind of ride that to victory, I think. Swing 4, and we'll just keep jump blocking with our 2/2s. Actually, we can just block with Steward as well, since the discard doesn't probably not going to do a whole lot. So if they top deck removal, we can still deal with prevent damage from this token unless they find some trample effect, which is certainly possible. So we have another 2/2, but it comes in tapped. So yeah, this is working out nicely. And once we get the Death Baron down, that should pretty much be game over, unless they have like a Shadow of the Sky maybe. But even then, we have the Davriel and Waste Not here. Okay, they can proliferate or put a counter on the Druid. Probably want to no, just try to make the Fertility nice and swole. No reason to activate Davriel. We just Death Baron and swing out. They have to block here. They could block 1 and take 2. Nope, they have to block both. So they're pretty much dead at this point. So Liliana's Reaver is one of the cards where wasn't quite sure what to make of it. It's kind of fun playing around with it in the actual Jumpstart event. I did have to craft a second one for this, which I was a little bit reluctant to because obviously the rare wild cards are so hard to come by, and our opponent is bad at math, but they were pretty much dead either way. I mean, even if Fertilid swing in, we're just not going to block with our Death Baron, and then they just die on the crackback. But they probably don't attack anyway, and we're still super wide, and they need like a board wipe just to survive. And even Davriel will probably just finish them regardless, since they don't have anything in hand. So, plus the Castle Locthwain at 20 health, and another creature to follow up with. But yeah, the Reaver, yeah, it's actually been pretty okay. So I think 2 copies feels pretty reasonable at the end of the day. I'm against Charlie JD Draws. If we had a 2-drop, this would be perfect. Hopefully we can draw into one. We are on the draw, so otherwise we have a 1 into 3 into 4, which is not terrible. So with the Death Baron, we're probably not inclined to activate the Steward's ability. Probably just want to keep it around as a creature, but we will see what our opponent is on. Another land's not ideal. But we have a Castle Locthwain, so we can definitely draw ourselves out of this potential flood. Okay, mono green ramp. A lot of Castle Garenbrigs. I'll just swing. They're just trying to play a big creature and race us, that's fine. If it's an X creature, the Eliminate can hit it. Otherwise, if it's like a Questing Beast or anything along those lines, Eliminate is not going to do a whole lot. Okay, Waste Knot is pretty good. Especially with a Reaver coming online here pretty quick. So I'll probably just go Reaver, and then we have the Waste Knot to eliminate the following turn. Ooh, Cobra, so they can fight our Death Baron. That's pretty good. We have a 4/3 Death Toucher, so we'll force you to discard since Steward's not doing much anymore. Could have saved it for next turn, try to get some more value off the Waste Knot, but with this many cards in hand, I think I want to just kind of keep them, keep their options limited. Here's a Questing Beast. Okay, so they might just have what it takes here. What do we want to block? Do we block anything? Well, we can't really attack. So yeah, we probably just want to deal with that. Prevent the most damage, gives us a chance to keep our Waste Knot around. Now we have removal for that. So we can Heartless Act that. We obviously want to do that. Combat. Alright, so the Kogla now is going to kill our Waste Knot, looks like. Now let's drop the Steward. Let's draw a card. Need to do something about this. Nope. Yep, mono green is definitely an issue for a mono black. They have lots of nice enchantment. Hate at their disposal. It's kind of crazy. They just literally did nothing except for cast Kogla. Looks like we're probably dead next turn. I'm not sure what Growing Rights is doing for them in this list. And yeah, we just die. So we'll see what our next card draw is. Oh, it's a Murderous Rider. That's technically keeps us alive. We're down to 2. We're already dead to Questing Beast anyway. So we're technically not dead just yet. Oh, that's cute. Wilderness Reclamation. Green aggro creature deck. Sure, dude. What are they holding in hand? They have the Growing Rights, they have the Castle Garenbrigs. I think the 1 damage is really important enough. Let's force them to discard. Get some tricks out of their hand. Could be more enchantment hate, which would be weird. Another Wilderness Wreck. Okay. Yeah, we can't draw with Castle Locthwain anymore because we would die. He's serious. Okay. I mean, 3 Koglas. I don't understand that. Growing Rights only works if you have a lot of creatures on the board. And Wilderness Reclamation, like, what are you doing in your deck that Wilderness Reclamation does anything? Like, it just seems like a wasted slot. Like, I guess you're trying to be cute with, I don't see any synergy here with Wilderness Reclamation, honestly. Obviously, there are lots of, you know, Titanic Growth and things like that, but those are not really something you can be aggressive with, like, right? Like you play the Reclamation, then you untap. I have no clue what they're running Reclamation for in this list. And 3 Koglas is super greedy, but we just weren't able to apply enough pressure to them, and they had the answer for our Death Baron, and our removal just did not quite match up. So obviously, best of 3, we could obviously slide in some better removal spells to kind of answer their bigger threats. We do have a Heartless Act, but we're focusing more on like eliminates to kind of deal with early threats and early creatures, and then kind of discard the bigger stuff out of their hand. But obviously, we didn't find any of our discard stuff except for a couple Stewards, and yeah, they just had answers for everything we were trying to do here with the Waste Not, with the Kogla and stuff. So pretty awkward matchup, but yeah, that's the way it goes. Up against what? That might just be the best username I've ever seen. That's pretty impressive. It could only be better if it was like WHUT or WUT or something like that, but either way, that's pretty cool. Which one drop do we want to lead with here? I mean, they're both 1 power. Steward does have the 2 toughness. Alright, Mountain. So whatever we play probably gets shocked anyway, so yeah. All the reason to run out the Steward. Nope. Resolved and passed immediately. That's curious. So do we play the Cryptbreaker, or do we just hold up Eliminate here? Steamkin, that answers that. And I think we just hold up. Alright, so we have the Death Baron into Liliana. And hopefully by then we found something better to discard so we can keep our Cryptbreaker and potentially get value, although a 1/1 against a mono red, or maybe a red mid-range list doesn't really do much. I mean, they've just played... they haven't really done much, so... yeah. Stay back. I think we're fine with playing a slower game against them. We don't need to race... I don't think we need to race mono red here. We're still at 20 life, and... got rid of their biggest threat with the Steamkin that can get out of control. Obviously, Goblin Gathering can flood the board. We're not really well equipped to deal with the wide board states. We'll go over a sideboard here if you do want to try this in like ranked best of 3 or something like that. Maybe we kill the Skirk Prospector. Is this just like a cute Goblins list that's running Steamkin and Goblin Gathering? And if we minus, then our Liliana's kind of vulnerable. I think I found just discarding land here. I still have a lot of cards in hand for being mono red. So let's see what else they're up to. Obviously, if it's more Goblin Gatherings, then it just makes future ones better. But at the end of the day, it's not really that impressive of a card. And yeah, I think we just stay back and just protect our Liliana and just try to grind them out. And then we have Cryptbreaker and Eliminate that can come in to help us get plenty of card advantage, but that's assuming that the Death Baron and Cryptbreaker can survive some burn spells, which I would assume our opponent is running, but we haven't seen anything yet. They haven't highlighted any of our creatures. They haven't held priority with mana open to indicate they would have a shock. I mean, Blazing Volley, that's cute, I guess. Especially in best of 1, like you don't even know, like there's just so many matchups that's just like a dead card, like 90% of the time. But if they think it's worth running, then cool. Obviously it's amazing with things like Pestilent Spirit, but outside of that, it's pretty medium. Even as sideboard tech, I mean obviously it would do wonders against them, but even then you're probably just better off running like Goblin Chamberers and things like that. Oh, they're ramping. So maybe this is just like this is more of a red mid-range, and they're just trying to get something big. Ooh, Tear of the Peaks. Eliminate does not hit that, and we have only 2 cards in our graveyard, so that sucks. Alright. Yes, this Terror of the Peaks is definitely an issue. Alright, stump our hand and then discard. So Eliminate can't kill the Terror, so we'll just have to hit the Skirk Prospector. We can draw with Cryptbreaker, which is decent. Maybe we could find a Heartless Act. So we just need one more card in our graveyard, actually. So if they do take out one of our creatures and Liliana lives and keeps her loyalty, which is a lot to ask for, then we could potentially kill the Terror of the Peaks. But I think we have to actually just go for... I think we just have to go for the card draw now. And we can't block the Terror anyway. Steward. Alright. So let's go matchups now. So maybe we want to take out those eliminates and maybe go 2 eliminates, 3 Heartless Acts. It's so hard at the 2-drop slot for removal. Cast Down even was a good option. Heartless Act, and they all work really well against different decks. So it's definitely hard to choose what the right ratio is and which exact ones to go for. Okay, they're gonna swing 5 at Liliana. She goes to 1, and they don't have a follow-up. That's interesting. No reason not to play the land, so we'll do that and then force you to discard. So we're grinding out their hand, and now they left themselves open to a counterattack. 2, 4, 6, 8. We could alternatively just draw, but we might just be in a race situation here. So let's just race. If they want to attack Liliana, that's fine. I mean, it sucks, but we're pressuring their life total, and they don't seem to be doing anything. Maybe they're just stuck on lands. So Prospector is definitely a good card. So they're saying good game. Are they just giving up? Okay. Whew, that was pretty close there. Terror of the Peaks is a very scary card. Not quite sure what they were trying to do there. I'm guessing they were just stuck on lands. We're able to get to those 4 and 5 mana plays they had. So I haven't really come up with a sideboard because I haven't really been playing historic ranked. Seems like goblins have just taken over and just become like super pervasive, and even then, like elves got like so much better. The elf ball is becoming is also kind of a top tier deck, and those are hard to deal with. And just Mux is kind of out of control if you're not able to stop it. So if you did want to run it in like a best of 3, definitely want to put like a. I should just come up with a sideboard and post that in the description, and of course the usual EtherHub link as well, so you can kind of reference that if you are curious about a best of 3 opportunities for this. But I haven't really been playing best of 3. I've just been trying to stay casual and play around, have fun in the best of 1 historic queue for now. Yeah, everything worked out pretty well, except for the eliminates. Seemed like it was kind of awkward in some of those matchups, but you know, that's just best of 1 is a bit of a crapshoot. So you might want to look at maybe a Cast Down or something like that, or even or just increasing the Heartless Acts, maybe just going 2 eliminates, 3 Heartless Act. Eliminate's still a good card. Definitely want to run like at least 2 of, I think. And we have the Murderous Riders here as well, and of course Liliana and Liliana's Reaver are both removal with Liliana's -3 and the Reaver's Death Touch ability. But most likely you're just trying to draw into the Death Baron. It's kind of fun that we have this discard deck, but there's definitely avenues we can kind of go aggro and just kind of kill your opponent. Death Baron is such a good card if your opponent isn't able to answer it. And we'll have lots of ways to make tokens. And the Cryptbreaker, I think, is really shined. It doesn't really belong in an aggro matchup. This is definitely kind of a grindier card. It's only 1/1 for 1, but then you tap 3 untap zombies, which means you're not attacking with your zombies. You're just using them for card draw. And then you can discard lands to make 2/2 zombie tokens. So I think, yeah, I feel pretty good about how these cards kind of come together. So if anything, just kind of play around some of the removal package and obviously come up with a sideboard. So if anybody is interested in trying a best of 3 environment. But yeah, we're just trying to focus here on Liliana because it seems like she's kind of a fun card. And I think the initial take from this card was a lot of people were kind of disappointed because it doesn't look like it really does anything too impressive, and it's not really seen a whole lot of play, certainly at the competitive level, at least from what I've seen. But still seems like a really fun card, and there's lots of ways I think you can get value off of it. You just have to find like kind of the right shell, and that's kind of what we've been doing this week is pretty much featuring Liliana decks all week, because hey, that's what we're about here at this channel. So definitely expect more zombies and Liliana, not just this one, but of course all the Lilianas we'll see continue to see play here on this channel. So thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, make sure you jank with a purpose.